administrators on, and let me go hit Twitter and let people know it's actually working. So what have you been up to this week, good sir?
This week?
Yes.
Well, I did, some comics earlier. I'm doing some comics now. Things have been going well with my diet.
Yeah, you still on the celery diet then?
That's the idea. I got my, mug of blended up celery right here beside me right now.
That does not sound pretty at all.
Oh, it's not. I didn't claim it was pretty or that it tasted good. I
Hey,
mean...
more power to you then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So, yeah, I could not do a diet like that. Not certain I'd want to.
Yeah, I've actually gotten to the point that I've started, like, keeping track of all my calories.
Yeah.
And rather than just like, oh, I'm just gonna chill and have smaller portions and I'm gonna have celery. Like, no, I've gotten to the point where I'm thinking like, okay, how many calories is this? How many calories is that? And I'm keeping track.
That's good. That's kind of what you're supposed to do.
Kind of.
Kind of. Okay, for those joining the stream, now that I have everything up and running, and I'm sorry for the technical difficulties, but Windows was dumb and decided it wanted to install a bunch of updates right before I did everything.
Of course.
Thanks, Windows. As you can see, I have the basics positions for all of Darkmoon all mapped out now. I had time this week to just tinker once in a while, so I went through and fixed a bunch of him so that he's all set and ready to go with each of his basic positions around the 8 frames, basically, of rotation. And if you checked my Twitter feed earlier, you would have seen that I even have, an animation up showing his full rotation, which actually, by and large, looks pretty good. I think I just need a couple minor things after posting that, but it all worked out pretty well. So now that I have the basics of Darkmoon all set up here, I have been working on trying to get his various facial expressions set up, so that I can then swap them out and actually make Darkmoon, talk and look expressive and all the stuff the characters should probably do. So that's what we're going to be working on today to start. We're going to try and get the rest of his facial expressions mapped out before, if we have time, I work on doing Darkmoon walking. Walking. He gets to walk eventually and, do action poses and so forth. Fancy. Oh, and the other thing I did was I gave him captain stripes on his new version of his coat, because he seems like he'd be poncy enough to actually want to call himself captain of the ship. That's where we're at. So you're working on comics right now, dude?
Yep.
Cool. So I have been on a horror movie kick this whole weekend. Halloween and all that. Just been going through and watching a bunch of the old classic Hammer movies from back in the day. Well, Hammer, and then I watched Nosferatu today.
Nosferatu, like from back in the goddamn day.
1922, yeah. My collection is gigantic, so I had a copy of it, and I actually hadn't ever watched it before today, so it seemed like it was about time, finally.
Yeah. And what'd you think of Nosferatu?
It actually, okay, I wouldn't say it holds up, because, I wouldn't say it holds up, because, it's a silent movie that's kind of hard to watch at times, based on everything. But if you're willing to take that into account when you're watching it, and you know what you're going to expect from a silent movie, it's really not bad. It actually earns the title of classic that it's been given. Yeah. All things considered.
Interesting note, you probably know this, but I'm saying it anyway for anyone listening. The Nosferatu silent film was the first introduction into the vampire mythos of the idea that they were actually harmed by sunlight.
Yes. Yeah, because Dracula in the books, if I recall, the various ways that they used to kill him were like garlic or kill vampires, garlic and an iron stake, basically a railroad tie, and beheading and so forth. Sunlight's not, although it's commonly associated now with them, is not necessarily something that ever showed up in the book.
It's true.
Not that I made it all that far into the book, because I found the book to be just an absolute slog.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. That's accurate.
That book is boring. I mean, I know it's a classic and everyone loves it who is really into vampires, but my god, I never made it more than 80 pages into that novel. Ugh. So boring. I've heard Mary Shelley's Frankenstein is really not any better. My mom read that book a couple times, and she's like, every time I read it, I keep hoping I'm going to enjoy it, and I never do.
Aww.
Which kind of leads one to wonder why she kept reading it, but... Hey, what are you gonna do? I need to, at some point, try and track down a copy of the 1910 Frankenstein silent movie.
Boris Karloff and such.
Oh, no, that's 1930s. I'm trying to... Well, maybe. I'd actually have... Let's go look. So let's go see who the lead actor was in that version of Frankenstein. I want to say no, but then, someone's be like, hey, no, he actually was in that, and I would be like a complete idiot. So let's just go and see.
It would be great if he was in that and he was like, stunned village boy number 3.
That would be awesome. This one was done by Thomas Edison. Fucking Edison. Nope, doesn't look like Karloff's in this one.
Wait. We're talking about a film. Like, was he the director?
The Edison Company was involved in the early days of film. I learned this by reading Crack. And he was one of, his company was one of 2 production companies vying for control of the whole of the motion picture industry. Because he was a supervillain who wanted to control everything. So, they produced a short film? 60-minute short film based on Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. So, there you go.
I was about to say, oh, really? He's Thomas Edison is gonna show a weird scientist using electricity to bring something to life. But then it occurred to me that in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, they didn't describe exactly how the creature was brought to life.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No. So I honestly don't know if electricity is going to be involved.
Well, I still have the page open. Hold on. Young students, blah, 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 blah. He's convinced he has found a way to create the most perfect human being. That of chemicals. Doesn't really look like electricity necessarily comes into effect here.
Wow.
Yeah. Good call.
Yeah, people think Frankenstein, they think lightning, but that's because of the 1930s movie.
The 1930s movie that pretty much set the standard for the kind of mad science Frankenstein does.
Yeah.
Yep. Which I have to say, actually, the 1932 Frankenstein from Universal is one of their better films. I don't like their original Dracula, I prefer the Spanish one, but the Frankenstein film they did is fantastic. I can talk.
What do you think of I, Frankenstein?
Oh my god, that movie was horrendously bad. Wow, was it terrible.
But Aaron Eckhart, though.
Oh, I know, and he did his part to try and make that movie not a complete waste of time, but there was no saving that movie. Frankenstein and gargoyles fight demons or something, it just... I can't even begin to say. No other way to describe that. It was just, oh my god, bad.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
I did not.
Count yourself lucky.
Okay, let me ask you, though, do you think there is any talent, director, actor, any combination of people that could have made that concept into a decent movie?
As a horror movie, I would assume probably not. I don't know about maybe as some other kind of movie. I mean,
Wait. As a horror movie? Was it horror? I was under the impression it was straight up action.
Action movie. Okay, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. Yeah. That's a tough call. That really is a tough call. Because, man, what are you doing? What are you doing? There you go. That's better.
Could it be salvaged by making it into a comedy?
That's kind of what I was going to imply, was a comedy. I mean, it really was almost a comedy already anyway, so. But yeah, I mean, it would take a gifted director, with the right kind of sensibility to take a goofy concept like they had and make it into something workable. Like, it was, the idea was so dumb on its own, and what they did with it was just so unworkable, it's hard to see, like, anything from what actually came about being usable down the road. Like, old Sam Raimi back in the day would have made a different kind of movie out of it, but maybe with his goofy sensibility, something would have been good from that? I don't know. It's hard to say. All I know is the movie we got was an absolute atrocious train wreck.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was bad.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it was just bad. No getting around that. It was just bad.
Sure.
But yeah, there's Frankenstein was on the cover box, so I, of course, had to buy it. That's just how that works. I have another movie I have to try and force myself to sit down and watch at some point. Frankenstein vs. the Mummy came out a year or two ago. That one, I mean, the box looks absolutely wretched for it.
I did not hear about this movie.
Yes! People, like, I'd have to go track down the cover box to be able to even tell you what it was about, because I don't know. I bought it because it looked bad and it was $5, and that's pretty much the qualification for any horror in my collection.
Good stuff.
Yep. Slowly tracking through and getting these spaces done. So how far into your series at this point are you? You're what, like 700 comics in?
The comic that I am working on as we speak is number 781.
Nice. How
so
far ahead
I
of
am
your archive
78.1% done with the entire Leftover Soup project.
Nice. How far ahead is your private archive in comparison to the public?
It's right now. It's only about 2 weeks, which is to say 6 strips.
Yeah, you're not that far ahead of me then, because I only have about a week's worth of 5 comics ahead of where I'm supposed to be. So.
Yeah, under normal circumstances, I like to keep it at least a month.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But I have had issues.
I've been lazy.
Okay.
Let's not sugarcoat it. I've been lazy.
All right. Very good.
I really shouldn't have let my. I had almost 2 months worth of backlog at one point, and then one thing or another came up, and I'm like, I don't feel like doing comics today, and I got lazy. And that's how that goes.
Yeah.
You've been there.
Oh, certainly.
So.
I have been there in the past. I will be there again.
God, there was a point at which I had DSWC going well enough that it had a year and a half of backlog, and I managed to blow all of that. So, yeah. That was a fine moment for me right there, let me tell you.
So we've got Motorcycle US in the chat, who I will assume is Harley.
Yeah. Okay. Where are we going with this?
Well, I'm just saying he's there. I just noticed that he is. So, I wanted to acknowledge, as one does when streaming, that there is another human being.
Oh, you mean in the text chat?
Yeah.
Oh!
What the hell did you think I was talking about?
I don't have a fucking clue!
Like, was I doing, like, surrealist poetry to you just now, or...?
I was like, are you talking about an event that's going on in London? What are we talking about? Because I'm intrigued.
Okay.
I want to know more.
No. Motorcycle. He's a person. He's a human being.
Good for him.
I'm fairly certain he's a human being. He has sent me a picture so that I could do a Castaway mini of him at one point.
Oh, nice.
So I do believe he is a human being, although it is possible that he is, in fact, a sentient motorcycle who has sent me that picture to throw off my suspicions.
Hey, you know, and more power to him if he is.
True.
Yeah. I mean, he's figured out how to use a computer. I mean, that's pretty good for a sentient motorcycle right there.
It is. They generally tend not to have hands. So.
No, so he's working those handlebars like you would not believe.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay. So for you, when you're drawing like characters in profile, and their mouth is open, do you tend to fill in their mouths with a color, or do you go the full like open with like just dead air between the lips, so it looks like there's no like color behind it?
It depends.
Okay.
In most cases, I will show air.
Okay. And that's a fair point. I think what I'm going to do is a kind of a absent combination of the two. So it looks like there's teeth behind, because if I don't put some color behind his Darkmoon's fangs just are not going to show up. Which would be a problem,
Yeah, I mean, he does have fangs.
He has fangs.
That's important to the character.
It is. This is very true. My one issue with Illustrator sometimes is the way grouping works. You have to fight the group sometimes just to get things to go the way you want them to.
Yep.
Love this program, but sometimes it's an absolute pain.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about there.
You deal with
programs that you gotta wrestle with.
Yeah. I'm still impressed you're able to get your comics to look as good as they do using GIMP.
Yeah, nothing wrong with GIMP. As far as I'm concerned, it's as good as Photoshop.
Hey, I got nothing against that. If you get it to work, you get it to work. Everyone wants their own thing. And I know people that swear by other programs that I'm looking at going, I don't even know how to use the thing you're using now, guy. Like, I lost the ability to use Paint years ago. I look at Paint now and they're going, I don't even understand what this program does. Come on, you okay over there? Okay. Nice.
No?
What?
My wife asked, are you cooking something? I don't know what she's smelling.
Is she smelling what the mason is cooking?
I think she might be smelling like the downstairs neighbor.
Ah. Hopefully it's not a bad smell.
It smells like cooking.
Who's cooking the downstairs neighbor?
I mean, when I was down there getting the laundry, I did see that they had vegetables and stuff out, so it would be logical for them to be cooking now.
Logic, though. I mean, really?
Yeah.
That's not bad. Good call on the open air mouth. I give you credit for that. That was a good call.
Thank you.
Absorb the thing I want to absorb. Dude, illustrate it. I swear. Okay, and then push that back and push that back. That's not bad. A little bit of that. Yeah, okay. Cool. You're all one, good, done. Yes.
Music's a little low, can't hear ya. I choose to believe he meant loud.
Okay, I'll turn it down. Not a problem whatsoever. I'm usually so very loud. But not a problem. What are you? Dude, you're supposed to all be one. Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm not certain you can be a low life doing homework, Becky. That's fair. That's fair. Okay, we got that. Is the shading in? Shading's in. Good. Ungroup that and bring you forward. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Like that. Nice. So, you see any movies lately, dude?
Not really. I generally don't watch a whole lot of movies. I should.
That would be something that I would. I don't understand at all. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessive. I recognize this. Ooh, that was good. Yeah, some friends wanted to go see Crimson Peak recently. We didn't actually manage to get to it, but I've been hearing some interesting things about that movie. Guillermo del Toro and ghosts and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much how you have to describe that movie. Guillermo del Toro and ghosts and shit. Remember, guys, when you're watching, if you have any questions, post them to the text chat. Mason is apparently keeping an eye on them, and if there's anything you have questions about, anything you want to know more about, I am here to share. Since I already have a spoiler warning on here, as long as you're not asking stuff too far in advance of where the comic is getting to, I am happy to give details on some stuff. Whatever suits your fancy.
Okay, so...
Yes.
You've probably heard before...
Yes.
The whole quote-unquote theory that some people have that said that Jar Jar Binks is actually the mastermind and the evil villain behind, the plot of the rise of the Empire in the original prequels.
I hadn't actually heard this. I had a theory a while back that Amidala was behind all of it, but that's also an interesting theory.
Well, the thing is, Jar Jar Binks...
Is evil.
Is evil, yes. And the Emperor doesn't rise to power and indeed does not become an Emperor without him. He somehow becomes a senator. His whole reputation is he's an outcast, he's a buffoon, he's a bumbling idiot, yet he becomes a senator, and he's the one who proposes, hey guys... Democracy's kind of ineffective. We should install a dictator for this time of crisis.
Because why not?
Yeah. And I saw this, you probably saw this, Becky, the website darthjarjar.com, where they lay out the whole theory.
Becky is a much bigger Star Wars fan than I am, so of the two of us to have seen this theory, she is more likely to have done so.
And I had originally thought, oh, that's just, fan speculation, whatever. But this website, DarthJarJar.com, it's actually shows this one GIF, this one capture from the movie that, like, now that I've seen it, I can't unsee it. It's a moment when, Amidala and some head guys are being escorted by droids, and Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan are there, and they jump down from a balcony.
Yes.
And, ambush that patrol, and they rescue her.
Yes.
And they show the two of them jumping down from the balcony, and Jar Jar sort of bumbles his jump, and he's sort of hanging from the balcony from the right side.
Yes.
But then you see, from underneath, okay, here's the Jedi kicking ass, and then Jar Jar drops down. But he drops down, and if you're keeping track of positions, he drops down from the opposite side of the balcony. And you're thinking, okay, that's like a continuity error. But then, in the background, there is one droid who looks at where Jar Jar would be, fires at that position, and then snaps his head around to look at where Jar Jar lands. So, if you're paying attention, there's just that one thing there, that one clue, that Jar Jar is capable of, like, force pushes and force jumps and such. Because he can apparently, jump about 20 feet laterally when hanging by his hands.
Sure. That or he's just a bumbling idiot and there was a continuity error.
Or he's a bumbling idiot and there's a continuity error, yes. But if it's a continuity error, it's a continuity error that one of the droids noticed and reacted to.
It's a continuity error that drastically rewrites the section of the movie.
Yes.
Unintentionally.
Yes. And, like, the theory at the bottom of it, when it got to the end of how it's explaining it, they're saying, I think this was the original intention because the prequel trilogy was always intended to sort of mirror the original trilogy, and so Jar Jar...
Okay, but let's be clear. The prequel trilogy was originally supposed to mirror it so long as George Lucas says it was supposed to mirror it. That man has changed his opinion about what the Star Wars series was supposed to be 8 or 9 times throughout its entire life so far.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is they're saying the original concept for Jar Jar was that he would be the mirror version of Yoda, where you think he's a bumbling clown, and then it reveals that he's actually phenomenally strong in the Force, only he's like the evil version, where you think he's a bumbling clown until it's too late. But they're saying that because of the incredible negative reaction to Jar Jar in the first movie...
Not entirely unwarranted.
Yeah, completely. And George Lucas chickened out and changed his mind on that plot point.
Okay.
Because otherwise Jar Jar would have been a major character and indeed the foundation of almost the entire Star Wars universe.
To a point.
Yeah. Yes.
And where they mash up, a Kung Fu fighter doing the same kind of moves Jar Jar was doing. What? Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah, no, drunken masters type martial arts, that's a thing.
Yes, oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's actually a couple decent Jackie Chan movies about drunken fighting. I can't remember if it's Drunken Fighter or Drunken Master. It's something like that. I've seen one of them, at least. I mean, because, you can't be a cinephile without watching enough Jackie Chan.
And think about Jar Jar's introduction, okay? Jar Jar was cast out from the fucking, city, so he's wandering around in the wilderness. He just randomly happens to be in the place where the droids touch down to go fight the Naboo. He's not with the Naboo. He just happens to be outside of that area where the droid army is touching down. And every creature in that forest is running, screaming from, you know, the droids. He is the one running essentially towards danger. He sees Qui-Gon Jinn, jumps on him, and literally grabs a hold of him like that's going to save him. Like,
Right.
if you're in a forest and the forest is on fire, there's a forest fire,
Yes.
and you see a park ranger come running up, not necessarily towards you, but clearly striding with purpose, is your instinct going to be to run up to that person and immediately grab on and cling to them? And just, like, hug onto them so they literally can't leave without you?
Well, that's a fair point. I mean, it's an interesting concept. It certainly doesn't change my opinion of Jar Jar, who was a complete waste of space. But it's an interesting concept, I give it that. And it doesn't stop me from hating him. So I like that, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you interested in the new series when it comes out? Or the new trilogy when it starts? Or
I
however many movies
probably
it's
will watch it at some point.
Yeah,
Maybe not in theaters. Maybe I will watch it in theaters if I hear it's crazy good.
yeah. And I'm sure it won't be crazy bad like the previous ones were.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Becky knows. I have no love for the original trilogy, and I don't really have much in the way of fan interest in the new series at this point, primarily because I will never forgive George Lucas for midichlorians. Like, that pretty much killed the series right there for me. Like, I love the original movies. I will continue to watch the original movies, but at a certain point, I'm just like, midichlorians. I can't do this. I just can't. So.
Yeah, no, midichlorians were pretty bad. I think the main thing about midichlorians is it changes it from an Eastern philosophy kind of story to a Western philosophy kind of story.
It does, kind of, but it's also a simple idea of the mysticism in the original Star Wars, in a lot of ways, works like, say, for instance, a slasher killer in a horror movie.
Mhm.
It works better if it has no explanation.
Yes.
As soon as you explain it, all the power and interests and everything that goes with it dissolves. Like, it's no longer... It stops being one of those things where anyone can be something, can be a Jedi just by believing in themselves, and having the power of the Jedi, like, finding the mindset and being able to just master that, you know, ability on their own. Instead, if you don't have the biological construct within you, you aren't going to be a Jedi.
And there's no way to fucking get it. Why would there not be a way to get it? If you can take it out of your blood and put it in a microscope and look at it and point at it and say, that there is the Force, why would you not be able to put more of that into yourself?
Yeah, I mean, it makes it, you hit upon a serious point right there, an issue insofar as, doesn't that then mean that you basically can biologically engineer a race of Jedi super soldiers? He says you can't clone the Jedi, but that doesn't make any sense if it's a biological something you can detect.
Yeah, it really doesn't.
It really does not.
Or alternately, why would you not be able to create devices that happen to have some biological component that has the Force in it? Like, you can't tell me they don't have enough technology to have just, like, a living liver under biostasis, and it's got hella midichlorians in it, and then, you know, they put it into a gun.
Yeah. That's a valid point right there. It doesn't hold up to scrutiny.
It really doesn't.
Does not.
Unless... Here's my conspiracy theory about the Jedi. I love this.
Okay. I'm all ears.
Notice that, Like, I'm fairly certain there's no scene. I could be wrong. I might have to go back and rewatch to make sure of this. But I'm fairly certain that the Jedi never talk about midichlorians amongst themselves.
They don't.
They are mostly talking about midichlorians to Anakin and to other outsiders.
Yes.
It is possible that they are bullshitting.
I can see that.
Yeah, because, I mean, you sound a whole lot less credible, especially in an ultra-civilized environment, if you're saying, oh, it's magic and I have the willpower and there's good and there's evil. No, I mean, you sound a lot more credible to certain kinds of people, at least, if you say, well, I have this particle. When, at the end of the day, it's really the same thing you're saying just saying it in a different way.
I like your explanation, and if they decide to do something like that within the new movies, like, oh, you know, we were joking, then I'd be willing to accept it. I would come around on the matter at least a little more than I have so far.
I got my wife standing silently in the doorway giving me stink eye, because I'm pretty sure she's about to go off on me for going off on the Jedi. Because she generally tends not to approve of my anti-authoritarian streak, which is really the reason that I tend to be kind of down on the Jedi Order.
I can see that.
But yes, Amber, you have an opinion to contribute.
Yes, please.
Nerds!
Okay.
It's a fair criticism.
Okay, that's a fair point. Anything else?
No, she's gone.
Okay. I guess, sure, okay.
But yeah, no, I've always been under the impression that the Jedi as an order, like, we see Qui-Gon Jinn lying a lot.
Well, they have that. I mean, yeah. The movies always play it off as just this cute feature. The whole, I can change your opinion and your mind just by waving my hand and telling you what I want you to believe. But there's a bit of an issue with that if you actually start to think about it. Yeah. I mean, when you see, like, not even mind trick, like, Qui-Gon Jinn lies to get what he wants a lot. Like, he says, oh, you know, the princess isn't going to mind if we wager this ship without her permission. Yeah,
you know, I'm looking for this. He completely hides, you know, his intentions in acquiring Anakin, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think, like, you could say, oh, that's just Qui-Gon, or oh, it was the circumstances, they were really dire, and so he had to do what he had to do. No, I think that deception is bundled into the Jedi Order. I think...
Well, and the whole simple concept of being a Jedi, the way they describe it to everyone else, you're not, even if you're in dire straits, deception's not supposed to be something you do.
Did he start deceiving after he met Jar Jar Binks?
Oh, snap!
Damn!
That is Jar Jar's force power. It's
the influence of the dark side.
Mind control.
Wow, I am impressed.
And then I get away.
That is a thing indeed.
Wow.
He's just in this meeting thing, and they have to, like, abandon things.
Yeah.
Seem pretty up and up.
Yeah.
He is actually using their own mind tricks against them.
And then he meets Jar Jar, and then, you know, just happens to really want to get in at the cost of, you know, the ship, all the stuff.
That is...
Just saying.
Wow, I think she has trumped any other fan theory we can come up with. That is amazing right there.
Yeah. And I think, like, every instance in which he's doing it, in which Qui-Gon is being manipulative and deceptive like that, I think Jar Jar was there.
Secretly, in the shadows, where you...
No, I mean, like, he's straight up in the scene.
Yeah. He wiped himself from everyone's memory, so you never get to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. That's a valid point right there. Wow.
You're welcome.
I want you to realize you out-nerded the rest of us.
I can hear it as I say no.
You okay? The chicken on the counter can be either for chili or Chinese, depending on what you want to make.
Chickadee China, the Chinese chicken.
Yes, exactly.
Drumstick and your brain stops ticking. Yeah.
Okay, we have to stop because I don't have the copyright for that.
Okay.
4 measures of a song. Actually, you stopped. You did it within 3, so we're okay. But you have to stop at that point.
Yeah, you would think they would just make it a certain number of seconds rather than measures.
Well, I can see why it's measured insofar as a slow song is going to have more that you can play than a long one to get the point of it across. Like, for instance, I mean, I don't think any of us are old enough to have seen the show when it first aired, but the show Name That Tune, where I can name this song in however many notes or beats or whatever, by allowing a certain number of measures, even if the song was played slowly, they would still be able to do a game show like that where they're discussing music in a fashion without having to pay for copyright. Although, of course, if we want to get extra nerdy about copyright, then the simple fact is that a show like that could be considered fair use of the music. So, yeah. Okay, I'm done nerding. For now.
Okay.
Anything else on the chat?
Not really.
Cool. Okay, perfect. Secretly, there really is, but you're hiding it from me, so I won't know.
Yeah.
They're asking all kinds of questions, and you're like, no, just shut up. He doesn't need to know any of this. Ha ha ha. Mason, Jar Jar of this conversation. Okay, music, what's going on? There you are. I know, I could make a boy band of Darkmoons. That's a frightening thought.
Do you watch Gravity Falls?
I do not, but I've heard it's pretty good.
They did have a cloned boy band in one episode.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's great because, you know, they were cloned, and so they have no concept of the outside world. And Mabel rescues them, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Like you've probably seen the GIF going around of a bunch of blonde guys all trying to drink a glass of water, and they don't know how to do it.
I honestly have not.
Okay, well, that's a meme GIF type thing that goes around sometimes.
That's fair.
That's what that's from.
I will be honest. I don't really browse the internet much.
Okay.
Despite doing everything I do, being a web designer and spending like my entire life online, I actually barely use the internet for anything.
Okay.
I visit Cracked and the AV Club and 3 webcomics, including yours.
Aw, thank you. What are the other 2?
Huh?
What are the other 2?
XKCD and Oglaf.
I noticed you don't include DMFA.
Well, I don't, because she got ahead of me at one point, and then it's been way too much effort to catch back up.
Fair enough.
She does. She lets me know if anything major's going on, and I figure I do my due diligence as a sibling by at least reading your comics, so.
Sure, that counts.
I contribute to your Patreon. I'm supporting both of you.
I do. I thank you for it. That Patreon pays my fucking rent, man.
And this is the thing. Whenever I see that my sister is browsing my webcomic, I'm like, oh, that's sweet of you. You don't have to. I don't do it. I certainly appreciate the effort you put in. So, no, I've read your webcomics since I like got in, I think, halfway on 1/0, and I've been reading your shit ever since.
Aw.
So, why did you not? Does he have a certain style to him? Well, if I ever decide to bring back the Mirror Universe characters, I will make Bald Darkmoon the evil Darkmoon. There you go.
Hey, what? What? That's baldism.
Well, I want to do something different. I don't want to just give him a goatee. Besides which, then he look like Blackula, because Blackula has a goatee.
He's also black.
Well, that's another matter.
Yeah, you Blackula, Blankenstein, you got the Blummy.
Blackenstein is actually a real character.
I'm sure.
I own that movie because I own everything that's blaxploitation that I can get my hands on.
Mm.
Oh, I love that genre. I really do. I have a fascination with that genre that probably is unhealthy.
You know what I think would be interesting is first you posit a sci-fi universe in which aliens have taken over and humans are a minority.
Yes.
Then try to make a human-sploitation movie.
Oh, I love the concept. Love the concept. Are you still doing your movie pitch Mondays or whatever?
I haven't done one of those in a while, but I should.
I think you just found your next pitch, dude. I gotta tell you, I would watch the shit out of that movie. Okay. Maybe I'm not the best person to discuss that with whether or not a movie is watchable, because I will watch the shit out of just about anything.
That's fair.
Yeah, so... Yeah, Becky has heard me on more than one occasion browse a movie store going, "Oh my god, this looks terrible. I must own it." Sometimes the bad movies are the most fun to watch, though.
Yeah.
So.
Were you in the chat when we were talking about The Stupidest Angel?
No, but do go on.
Okay. It's a movie. It's based on a book.
Yes.
It's called...
Is this a real thing?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a real thing. It's called The Stupidest Angel, A Heartwarming Tale of Christmas Terror.
Was this a Christopher Moore book?
Don't know the name of the writer. Let me look it up.
Okay, there you go. Because this sounds like the kind of thing the author Chris Moore would do.
Stupidest Angel, A Heartwarming Tale of Christmas Terror. Yes, Christopher Moore.
There you go. Got it in one.
Well done.
Yeah, that sounds like it's right up his alley. That dude does some honestly, some really funny books. I haven't read all of his stuff, and I really should at some point, but I was on a huge Terry Pratchett kick for the longest time, and he has a lot of books.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I am still sad that he is dead. I'll be sad for a long time over that one.
But yes, The Stupidest Angel, it is a Christopher Moore book. It did get made into a movie.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Fair enough.
Apparently it does have links to his other works, according to Wikipedia here.
Yeah, he actually does a shared universe, as far as I know, where everything exists in this one place in, New Orleans, I think.
Okay.
So... yeah, he does everything in this, like, I want to say a fictional city in New Orleans.
Okay.
Or Nolans, if you prefer pronouncing it like that. You don't have to. So. Okay, but anyway, continue. Because I haven't read this book, so
I have not seen this movie myself.
Okay.
But we were talking about it. Kev is going to be seeing if she can track it down. So, Kev, if you're listening to this, plug your ears, because I'm about to tell him what the plot is.
Alright, cool.
I'm
good with that.
An angel is sent to Earth to grant the wish of a child.
Yes.
There's a little boy who has witnessed the death of a man who was dressed as Santa Claus.
Okay.
So the little boy wishes for Santa to come back to life.
Okay.
Angel raises zombies.
Yes.
That's pretty much the plot.
That's kind of awesome. That's really kind of awesome. I'm down with that. I have nothing wrong. I can see nothing wrong with Christmas zombies. That sounds amazing.
Well, you know, good Christmas zombie movie. The more obscure holidays, though, I think should get more movies. Like, there are plenty of Christmas movies. There's plenty of Christmas horror movies. There's not many Easter movies. There's not many Thanksgiving movies. As far as I'm aware, there's pretty much only the one Groundhog Day movie, but I'd say they nailed it.
I mean, you've gotten a stream of movies as of late from one production company with Gary Marshall, I believe, is behind most of them. Like Valentine's Day, New Year's Day, those kinds of things. They're going through and doing, you know, the Love Actually formula from pretty much every holiday they can think of. But I certainly agree with you. Most of those movies probably don't need the Love Actually treatment.
Has there been a Valentine's Day horror movie?
Yes, My Bloody Valentine.
Excellent. Has there been an Easter horror movie?
If there hasn't, there should be, but I would... You know, something that we need to discuss is the fact that probably there has been a number of movies that we haven't seen, primarily because Troma Films does a bunch of them, and whether or not we count Troma is another matter altogether.
That's fair.
Because they produce a shit ton of shit. That is the best, probably the best way to put it.
Well, there's probably been a bunch of shitty movies like, oh, Jesus is a Zombie, which I guess would count as an Easter horror movie.
You know, I actually want to do a Jesus zombie movie if I ever had the funds to do it. Okay, and I'm going to lay down the copyright for it now. So this is mine if I get it to work and someone hasn't already done this title. Because I want to do it as straight up a follow-up to the Passion of the Christ that you can do on a smaller budget and with zombies. And call it The Hunger of the Christ. This is the movie I want to make.
So, wait, if it's a follow-up to the Passion of the Christ, does that mean that everything's in Aramaic?
I think we may have to fudge that detail.
Just have everyone speaking Swedish chef-ese, but have the same style of caption underneath.
You know what we should do is for the DVD Blu-ray release, we should overdub it in just Swedish chef. There you go. That covers that then. See it in its quote-unquote intended version. I'm glad you're Christian, because I feel real bad about discussing this otherwise. So.
Yeah.
Well, you were at least raised Christian anyway. I don't know if you are now. I don't know what you identify as.
I don't use labels.
What? It's all good.
I don't know what I'd call myself.
I get that.
If I use the term at all, I tend to use the term Christian Bodhisattva.
I like that. That's good. That's very nice. That's very nice. I always describe myself as I'm not. As in, someone asks me if I'm something, and I tell them no, I'm not. So, because I haven't found a better thing. Like, I'm culturally Jewish, because I get it from my dad's side, but since it's from my dad, I don't qualify as a Jew as far as the Israelis are concerned. And since they're kind of the authority on the matter...
They tend to be.
They're not going to accept me, then it's not exactly, you know... Yeah. So... And then my mom was pretty much whatever she wanted to be, and whatever she was studying at the time. It's good for her. So, yeah, I'm not. But... So I, like, with a movie concept like Jesus as a Zombie, it's great, and I want to do it, but I also feel really bad about wanting to do it. Because I'm sure it would piss off a number of people.
Well, like, virtually any movie about any religion, if you don't take it 100% seriously, is going to piss off somebody.
But, you know, it's the thing about religion is you learn more, I think, from exploring it and screwing around with it and seeing what it is that's true about the religion that holds up no matter what you do to it. So, by taking a movie like Jesus is a Zombie and poking a little fun at the religion, Like, it's kind of like what Dogma did. Don't you, in the long run, also learn a deeper truth about what you hold dear and what's important and what isn't?
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, I say that in part to justify the fact that I want to make a Jesus zombie movie, but there's also a deeper discussion to be had there.
Certainly.
Of course, I just really want to make a Jesus zombie movie, so.
Well, now, if I had, like, hella budget and I could do any Bible movie I wanted to, I've said this, like, a whole bunch of times. I would do one about Jephthah the Gileadite.
Wow, that's... Okay, as a Jew, a self-identified cultural Jew, I have no clue who the fuck that is. Should I?
Okay, he's from the book of Judges, so after the Israelites got out of Egypt, but before they established a kingdom, so it's this sort of nebulous period in their history. I'm gonna do the whole story. Fuck it, here we go. Okay.
I'm in. I'm in for this now.
So, there was this dude by the name of Gilead.
Yes.
He was crazy rich and powerful for the time. He had wives, he had concubines, he had sons, he had cattle, he had acres and acres and acres of land. By every measure of that time, he was considered rich.
Okay.
And because they did not yet have kings or kingdoms established, he was rich, so he was essentially a king. He was in charge of his little homestead clan area.
He was, for all intents and purposes, the shit.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. He fucked a whore.
Okay.
And said whore proceeded to give birth to our hero, Jephthah, the Gileadite.
Okay.
And Jephthah, you know, he was like little kid. He was the prostitute's kid, but there was basically.
Please tell me he didn't just call himself that.
No. I mean, if I was gonna do the movie, I would refer to him like he wouldn't call himself this, but I would call him the bastard.
Okay. That's
okay.
Fair.
Just fair. Because what happens later, he gets kind of badass.
Okay.
And I like the idea of calling him the bastard.
I'm in. Good so far.
Okay. So. It's generally not in dispute whose kid he is. And as years go by, Gilead's getting old. His more legitimate kids are looking around and they're seeing that, you know, the pie is going to be cut into a hell of a lot of slices, and, you know, the lifestyle that they're used to, you know, when you inherit like 1/18 of that, you don't quite have the same clout. So they're looking at this and they're thinking, you know what? We're already cutting this pie into thin enough slices as it is. We should run the bastard out of town.
Let's not have someone else who could potentially take another slice of the pie.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that's what they do. They run this little kid and his mom out of town.
Okay.
And they get, like, kicked off into the fucking wilderness. And you would expect they wouldn't make it. And indeed, the mom does not make it. But when next we see the bastard, he is a sword for hire. He's a mercenary.
And at that point, the name the bastard actually is pretty badass.
Yeah. So he's an outcast, he's a kicker of ass, and not only is he personally a kicker of ass, but he's got a whole crew.
Okay.
And they ride with him. And now I'm filling in some blanks here, because the Bible sort of doesn't
Doesn't get the whole story?
Doesn't explain the whole story. But when we see him next, he has actually hung up his sword. He's done. He's put that all behind him. And he has a daughter, but the mother's not in the picture. So I choose to interpret that as he met a girl, loved her, settled down with, you know, he cashed out. He's done with that whole lifestyle.
Yeah, as heroes are wont to do.
Yeah. And woman gives birth, but, you know, something goes wrong. Maybe she dies in childbirth. I don't know. That was a thing that happened back then because you lived in filth.
Oh, absolutely.
And now he's stuck raising this daughter on his own and she's like the last living remnant of the woman that he loved, and she's like the most, practical thing. She's the most important thing to him in his whole life now.
Yes.
Okay. So that's the deal. He's got like a couple of acres. He's got a couple of head of cattle. He's not rich, but he's, he's kind of okay.
He's doing okay by himself.
Yeah. And then one day there's a knock at the door, and he opens the door, and, "Brother! Oh, good to see you, brother! It's been so long! What are you doing out here? What do you want?" Yeah. Turns out that after Old Man Gilead died, the Midianites, who were, a bunch of local barbarians, they swooped in and they began, taking shit.
Systematically stealing all their crap.
As they are wont to do.
Yeah.
And so the legitimate kids, grown up, they're sort of trembling there on his doorstep, and they're like, "Please, brother, you need to come back. You need to defend us. We'll accept you as one of our own." And he makes the "and" motion with his hand. "And we'll give you the greatest share of the inheritance." And they go, "And you'll be the head of Gilead because we need a strong leader, so you will actually not only be the richest of us, but you will be, king shit of the area."
Okay.
And so, maybe if he didn't have the kid, he wouldn't have gone for it, but he's thinking of his daughter. He's thinking, I've got to do something for her future because we're living, not so high right now. So he says, "You know what? Swear an oath to me that this is going to happen, and this is what we're going to do." So they swear an oath, and they say, "Yes, yes, yes, we are going to do this if you show up and you beat off the Midianites."
Whoa.
Beat the Midianites off. Beat them away.
No, I'm sorry, your movie just took a delightful turn right there.
Yeah. We will give you the lion's share of the inheritance, and we will make you king over us. So he's like, "Okay, let's do this."
Yeah.
So, he, leaves the daughter basically at home alone. And again, this is me filling in some blanks. This is me making stuff up. I choose to believe he had a dog that he didn't really care for. Maybe she really loved the dog, but he had this dog, and he was just like, "Oh, fuck this little it's a shit dog."
Inventing whole cloth now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Well, this will become important later. Okay.
I'm in so far.
Okay, so he goes to where the Midianites are, and he tries to talk some sense into them. He's like, "Look, they own this land legitimately. Please do not, be vandals and barbarians and steal this shit." And the Midianites are like, "Fuck you, we're Midianites, we take what we want, we're the bad guys, And so he goes...
They sound a lot like Cartman.
Yeah, I believe Cartman is actually descended from them. So he's like, "Well, fine." And he calls up his crew, and they proceed to thrash the ever-living daylights out of the Midianites. They have multiple epic battles, and I actually did the research for when this would be archaeologically. Yeah. We're talking just at the end of the Bronze Age and towards the Iron Age.
Okay.
So at this time, you would have had steel from, the more advanced civilizations, the Egyptians, the Philistines, but these people who were fighting, they would just be bronze weapons. And I don't know if you've ever tried swinging a sword made of bronze, but after a couple of dents, it's pretty much a club.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm thinking character-wise, maybe give him one of the jobs he did. He got a steel sword, and so everyone's in awe of this thing that it's super light and super sharp, and it looks like silver, and they're like, "Holy shit!"
And depending upon how he swings it, he may be cutting through other blades altogether.
Yeah, absolutely. And all of this, metallurgically accurate. So anyway, they're kicking ass, and it comes time that they're coming up to the final battle, and he's established himself as leader of the Gileadites because they're following him and he's leading them to material success. And they have this tradition that you make an oath to God.
Yes.
And before the battle, and you basically pay him off, and you say, "Oh Lord, if you give us the battle, if we win, then I will sacrifice X to you. I will sacrifice, this many head of cattle. I will sacrifice this or that or the other thing."
Yes.
And so, before the final battle, they come to him and they're like, "Look, you should do this. It'll inspire morale in the people if they know that God is on their side because you're bribing him. Could you stand up and do one of these oaths?" And Jephthah is like, "I don't really have that many head of cattle to sacrifice, so I kind of don't want to, but fuck it." He has this concept in his head, like, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna get away with this, this is gonna work. And so he stands up in front of the people, his army, and he says, he makes his oath to the Lord, and he says, "Oh Lord, when if you give me this battle, I will sacrifice for you anything you want, regardless of what sort of thing it is. If it comes out running to greet me when I come home, I will consider that to be your will, and I will sacrifice that to you." This is, now you can see why I'm saying he probably, had a dog that he hated, because a cow's not going to run up to you when you come.
No, but a dog is potentially going to.
Yeah. So he's thinking, I'm going to get this done, and then I'm going to come home, and the dog's going to come running up to me, and everybody's going to be like, "What the hell? You can't sacrifice a dog. That's not one of the animals that God accepts." And I'll be like, "Hey, God chose this. It's destiny. It's not me." Anyway, for whatever reason, that works. They win the battle. They, successfully, win the day. Hooray! Yay for everything.
Yes.
So Jephthah comes home at the end of, all of this to give the good news to his daughter. Dog's locked up. Daughter comes running out to meet him. Problematic.
Yeah, to say the least.
Yeah, so he's going, "Oh shit, now I have to sacrifice my daughter, the light of my life, my only child,
Not Hollywood intensity drama. You have him, coming up the walkway, whistling, because he knows that the dog will, hear the whistle, in a response. And then just as he's getting to, the things he knows has been, a little buried grave plot, and he sees, the little collar on the things, "Oh shit, the dog died while I was away," and then the dog runs out to...
That's some good build-up right there, I like that.
And you gotta have that cinematic build-up where, he's expecting things, it's okay, where's... Our cows are put away, okay, where's the dog, Oh shit, there's the dog, and then he turns and sees his daughter, run to him.
Yeah.
And to be fair, a lot of us already see this coming.
Yes, of course. So anyway, he says, "Oh shit, I have to sacrifice my only daughter." Now, there are some fucking Christian, guys, pastors, who will try and hand wave this away and say, "Oh, they wouldn't actually practice human sacrifice, so clearly it must have been interpreted that he would have to give her up to be the equivalent of a nun." And I'm just like, no, man, it's right there in plain English. Don't try and fuck around with this.
And I know, the God from the Bible had in the past demanded sacrifices. Whether or not he followed through on them, he still demanded them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This is Old Testament God, particularly from one of the bloodiest sections of the Bible.
He liked to test people.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
If you believe in that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So he explains that, and she, weeps, but, it was an oath, and that's the legally binding contract
of
absolutely. That. And, all of this entire army saw him make this oath, and, he can't just back out of this. But he sort of gives her an out, because she's like, "Oh, I must go into mourning for, I will never, know love, I will never have a child, I will, mourning for my shit. And he's like, yes, you must go and go into mourning for a while, for like a set period of time, and then you'll come back and I'll sacrifice you. She's like, okay, I'm going now. Yes, good, go into mourning. And she goes off into mourning. And then she comes back and she's like, okay, I'm ready to be sacrificed now. God damn it.
He's like, don't you know what I was saying?
Yeah. Again, I'm just trying to humanize this guy a little bit. Then, again, this is just my conjecture. This is my trying to humanize the guy. I mean, this is, ancient Jews. They would have known about Abraham, the founder of their people, and the story of Abraham and Isaac. So maybe he's thinking, okay, maybe like at the last microsecond, an angel is gonna stop me. Again, this part's not in the Bible, but I'm assuming that's what he's thinking.
It's a fair assumption.
Yeah. So he's like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm going to tie her up, and I'm gonna put her on the altar, and I'm gonna hold up the sacrificial dagger, and I'm bringing my hand down, and if God wants to stop me, now's the time, and God didn't stop me.
Oh.
Yep. Yes. That's the beautiful thing about this story, and this is exactly why this is the story I would want to bring to the movie, is maybe you're thinking that, yes, this is going to be a heartwarming tale of faith. God does not actually feature in this story whatsoever. It is essentially an atheist Bible story. Okay, so here's the epilogue to this. He's now the king. Yay, he got everything he wanted. He's super rich, but, his daughter's dead. And the Gileadites, they had these allies, sort of a brother tribe, and some representatives from the brother tribe show up at his, his little makeshift throne room for an audience. And they're like, hey, why didn't you invite us to the battle? We wanted to partake of the glory of the battle. And Jephthah I'm assuming he just glares at them, and he's just like, you wanted to have the glory of battle. It's like, yeah, you should have called us up so we could have helped you fight the Midianites, and how dare you take the glory of battle? We also wanted to have a great and glorious battle. And he's like, okay, as you wish. Fucking kill them. And, This is actually, there's, like, something that sometimes some people will say in English. I don't know if you've heard the term shibboleth.
I have.
Okay.
Because I watched The West Wing.
Okay, this is actually the Bible story where this term comes from.
Nice.
Because how Jephthah and his army kill off this entire fucking group of people is they establish, like, they take a ford where they would have to cross to get away from him, and they bottleneck it, and they stop people there, and anybody trying to cross the ford, they say the word shibboleth, and these people, they had an accent, so they couldn't say it right, and say shibboleth, sibboleth, die, heathen, oh, sit. And then they would kill him, and that's how they managed to wipe these people out, simply because, like, they didn't even do anything all that wrong. They just basically came up to this guy who had to stab his own daughter and said, why didn't you call us? We wanted violence too.
So it's a chronic case of too soon.
Yes.
Nice.
And
also, it's like the most hardcore ruffles have ridges you'll ever hear.
Yes.
Yes, it is. And there has to have been at least one person who just had, like, a speech impediment and was having, like, a really unlucky day.
A really bad day.
Yeah. Anyway, that is an actual story. It is in the Bible, Book of Judges, chapter 9. Y'all can check it out. And like I said, it is bleak as fuck. It is essentially an atheist Bible story. It is fucking nihilist as shit. and it is canon, it is in there, I have heard sermons about it, I've heard them try and justify it in some way, but at the end of the day, this is a Bible story in which bad things happen and nobody learns anything.
Nobody gives a shit.
Yes.
Wow. It's kind of awesome.
Thank you.
I like that. Well, like, Hollywood has had a lot of faith-based movies lately.
Yes.
And I mean, hey, more power to them, sure. Not a problem with that whatsoever. I'm not going to watch them. But if someone wants to spend their monies watching it, that's fine. But I definitely think sometimes a movie like the one you propose should be released, just to, to remind them, not everything in your book is all sunshine and roses, people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's kind of one of those things, is like, they say, oh, the Bible says you're not supposed to allow homosexuality, and I was like, well, yeah, but the Bible says a bunch of other shit that you guys aren't paying a good goddamn about whatsoever, so why is this particular thing so much more important than everything else?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. The presidential campaigns we get now, just, that shit, I don't know if you have to deal with that as much with the, campaigns that you guys get up north, but just the amount of, like, random bullshit that's thrown out over, deny these people these rights, or these people these rights because it's in the Bible, That just annoys me.
Yeah, it's not quite as bad over here.
Yeah.
You would have to be, like, really banging the xenophobia drum to be able to get away with that sort of thing.
Which, wasn't your, the Prime Minister that got kicked out, wasn't he kind of doing that?
Yeah, he was kind of, being an asshole to Syrian refugees, and,
Which, dude, they already got it bad enough. Don't crowd on them at this point.
Yeah. And also the big thing was, public servants.
Yeah.
People are trying to make a big deal over, like, if you work in, I don't know, the fucking Ministry of Transportation or whatever, you work at the equivalent of the DMV,
yeah.
Are you going to be allowed to wear, a hijab or a niqab or whatever?
Yeah. Which they should, if that's their right. I mean, that's freedom of religion right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I personally think that, a person who just happens to be a public servant, as long as they're not allowing that to influence the way they do their job, cough, cough, Kim Davis.
I know, exactly, right?
That, if you want to wear a crucifix necklace, you want to wear a yarmulke, you want to wear a pentagram necklace, whatever, you should be allowed to do that.
Yeah.
But that's just me, and I'm not Stephen Harper.
Good thing, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be out of a job now.
I would.
Good thing you have that Patreon, then.
Yes! I think it would be sort of controversial if the Prime Minister of Canada had a webcomic, especially if he had a webcomic like mine. I think that might not be well looked upon by the public.
I gotta say, if we had a presidential candidate that had a webcomic like you did, I would vote for him. Like, that would just be badass.
Thank you. Okay, so we need Bernie Sanders to start a webcomic.
Oh, yeah! That's it, right there. Right there. Like, I want to vote for that guy. And it'll, I kind of like where he's at with a lot of things. But it's also one of those things that's like, I'll be perfectly happy if any of the Democratic candidates get it, because at least they're not crazy sauce. And then, oh my god, the Republicans, crazy sauce.
Would you change your mind and be okay with Donald Trump if Donald Trump started a webcomic?
No. He should still start a webcomic, I agree on that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't vote
It's
for him.
hard to imagine him doing it about anything that isn't himself, though.
Oh, no, absolutely. The dude would totally go for just doing a webcomic about his own life, which, I gotta admit, if he could do it right, hire the right ghostwriters, I could probably read that.
Yeah.
It'd be something. It'd be something. So.
I did see a tweet that I liked. Someone said, you know what? If Hillary gets into the Oval Office, I hope she gets an intern to go down on her.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I especially if she can get a picture of it taken where she's just there the whole time giving Bill just this death stare while it happens.
Yeah, just staring him down the whole
The
time.
whole time. Like, what, you gonna say something about it?
Like, I mean, I think it was LBJ who, like, used to, like, piss on the legs of the Secret Service or something.
LBJ was a crazy motherfucker, though. I mean,
Yeah.
let's not even start with that. That dude was motherfucking crazy. So,
Yeah, but, I mean...
and apparently hung like a horse.
Yes.
Yeah.
But even LBJ never, like, had a cabinet meeting and just dead-eye stared everyone while, you know, being serviced. I think that would be,
Was that? Do you know for a fact that's something Bill Clinton did? Because I
No.
gotta say, I might have actually voted for him even harder at that point.
No, I don't think he ever did. I'm just, like, I'm extrapolating.
Okay, that's fair.
I don't know.
What's this one? This is Circle the Moon. I'm doing health meters in case anyone's wondering what the fuck it is I've been up to. Since I just kind of started goofing around with something and didn't explain it to anyone.
Health mirrors, you say?
Health meters.
Oh, health meters, okay.
Yeah, you know, have you played any Castlevania games?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know the basic construction of stuff in that series.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to make a health meter for my characters. I made them for the first version of this artwork that I'm doing right now, and I never actually used it, but it's also one of those things of be prepared just in case I ever feel like I need to.
Just in case you ever feel like showing exactly how many hit points people are at.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't think it's ever going to come up. I haven't had to do it so far, but it's nice to know that I can, just in case.
Mm-hmm. I think that would be interesting, like, director's commentary style. Like, if you were to take a movie that's, like, I don't know, standard fantasy or fiction action movie, and you show how things go, but then the director's commentary version, you basically have all the characters' character sheets, and you show exactly how they're going. Like, I think, like, the D&D movie would have been so much better, or would have been good at all, if they had, like, everyone had actually had a canonical character sheet, all of it had actually made sense in D&D physics, and you could basically play along with the movie and say, okay, this character's got this many hit points, he takes that kind of hit, oh, this is the spell he's casting, oh, this is how he can do that, etc., etc.
Honestly, you just described the D&D movie that my sister, your wife, and I talked about way back in the day. We had the exact same thought you did, which is, this really should be a thing. Like, how is it that, like, you're showing us all the characters and everything, but you're not giving us an example of what all goes on with what, and you really should. So, yeah.
Even if it's just, like, errata, like, stuff that you don't need to see in the actual movie, there should be, like, a director's commentary version, or, like, something like that, where you can see exactly what's going on mechanically.
I think it would have been great if the, when the, come on, Illustrator, thank you. Okay, when a new character was introduced, if they were just like, oh, and here's his character sheet up on the side of the screen, and blah, 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 here's all his stats, and everything just kind of flowed. Like, that would have been fantastic. That would have made the D&D movie so much more watchable than it was, because it was really an unwatchable piece of shit.
Yeah.
We're talking the one with, like, Marlon Wayans, right?
Yes.
Yeah, oh my god, that movie was so bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
How do you fuck up D&D that badly? Like, how do you not just, like, there are so many people who love D&D, right? How do you fuck up a D&D movie when there are so many people who would volunteer to show up and help you get the shit right?
Yeah, there are. I would agree with that. I don't know. Yeah, that's... But then that's Hollywood for you. They take a lot of stuff that seems like it should be a no-brainer, and then they just manage to fuck it up completely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Hot packs, babe? Okay. Are we doing food at some point? Cool. Good to know. Oh, are you still working on your homework? Oh, that sucks. Hey, you're almost done. No, I mean with school. Your schooling is nearly done. I'll be honest, I'm not one of the people that's really all that hardcore into D&D, but I think everyone could assume that since I wrote my own RPG.
Yeah, you were just like, D&D, no, I'm gonna do it better. Fuck it.
Shameless plug. Thanks, wife. Well, I mean, I would hope people would consider that I did it better. I guess that's something that's open for interpretation. I sent you a copy of the new version I've been working on. You could have looked through it and gone, that's a piece of shit, I just don't feel like telling him.
No. No, it's good. It looks good. Let's spell D12s. Everybody loves D12s. Or they should.
As Becky said, and then you're like digging through going, where the hell did I put that so I can finally read it? Anything in the chat I should be aware of?
I think we lost Motorcycle.
That's fine. Did he have an accident? Ba-dum-bum. I'm sorry, that might have been terrible. In fact, that was terrible. I fully will admit that. That was... About motorcycles? Actually, no, I didn't. I was just asking if he did.
Alright.
We made my sister laugh.
I gotta pee. I'll be right back.
Okay. We made my sister laugh. I'm happy. I want to know more about sentient motorcycles. Come back, man. Just really don't want to do that work, do you? Too much?
Too much. Because she still thinks that we know more than we do, kind of thing.
I know absolutely nothing. So.
Yeah, it's a good place to be.
It's a good place to be.
It's secure.
I'm comfortable in my lack of any kind of knowledge whatsoever.
Yeah. You start to think, you're like, hey, barking up the wrong tree.
Yeah.
I know nothing.
Nothing. I know nothing. Start from scratch.
There's no expectations. He's like, oh, there's all these race cars in the middle, and now they're ready. Not for 5 very things in driving.
Of people who are just trying to get the hell out of college as fast as possible. That's where you're at. That's fair. That's a fair point. Okay. PS4 diploma. That's good enough for me. That's been your slogan for a while now. PS4 diploma. Yeah.
wow. And I should have looked at this thing before the last minute and made an appointment with him to ask the questions like, what the hell did you mean?
But you didn't.
But I did not.
But you didn't.
Because I assumed
That you'd be able to just do it.
and misremembered.
Hmm.
Okay.
What's our cat doing?
Put my head time way over there. Yeah,
Well, she wants you to work for it.
oh wait, I guess I can do it.
Oh, now you're just spoiling her. Look what you've done.
Cat.
No! She's like, I have your hair tie, that's all I wanted. Ha ha ha. Don't do it, kid. Don't. Oh. That's funny.
No.
She's laughing at something else altogether. My sister's a butt. Sure, Mason loves that butt. He's not legally required to. He could hate his wife. There's no law saying he has to love his wife. I don't know, that's not certain that's a thing. In fact, as the male in the relationship, most cultures would indicate he doesn't have to love his wife, she just has to love him unconditionally in return.
Yeah.
What is the law of the land in Canada? Do women have to honor their wives or their husbands?
I think the law just, binds us together. The love, honor, obey shit is in whatever particular vows you choose to make at the time.
I can't remember what your guys' vows were.
I don't think obey or honor was in there. I think love was in there. 0 in tennis.
It is. He's correct. That is 0 in tennis. Which, let me tell you, the scoring in tennis makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would it not just be 1, 2, 3, 4?
Yeah. That's yeah. Why can't it just be that?
There is no reason for it not to be. Like, it's not like some points are worth more than others.
No, not in the least.
It's not like, oh, I hit it over to that quadrant, so I get 2 points. No. It's just a weird-ass way of counting.
Yep. I agree with that.
So, apparently Harley has been talking.
Oh, has he? The sentient motorcycle came back?
Yes.
Okay.
He's protesting that he's here, but...
Good for him.
Problem is I'm also trying to do shit, so if I get distracted, I don't.
That's not my fault. I had nothing to do with you and whether or not you're able to do homework.
I just assumed he had dropped out because I saw, how many people are watching, because YouTube does show that, and it only showed one, and I knew one of those was me, so...
Oh. Well, I mean, all these videos get archived, so it's not like anyone who wants to come watch it later can't just do it then. I'm not going to blame anyone if they're like, I've got better shit to do right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean... It's fucking Sunday night.
Yeah.
Go out and do shit. Live your life, man.
Well, I mean, I subscribe to people on YouTube, and I tend to watch their videos over lunch when I'm at work, just so that, I have something to do, because you're sitting there at work, and you're bored, obviously, because you're at work.
Right.
No, I don't care what job it is. If you are sitting at your desk for 7.5 hours a day because they mandate you to be there, you are going to have times, no matter how much you love it, where you are bored by your job. Yeah, there's no way around that. You will be bored by your job. And I love my job. My job is great most of the time, but there are times where I get bored, especially at lunch, and I just feel like I want to go and I want to watch videos and I want to be left alone. So that's where I do my stuff. So I totally understand if people are like, right now I want to go live my life, and then tomorrow I'll come back and I'll watch hour of this stream, maybe come in and watch another portion of it another day. Why the hell not, you know?
For sure.
Oh yeah. It's the best way to do it.
I agree.
I will admit I haven't actually gotten around to watching any of your streams, but you don't do it through YouTube, you do it through something else.
Yes, I use live stream.
Okay. Does it archive your stuff afterwards?
Yes, but only for a set amount of time. After a while, it deletes it.
Okay.
I am thinking eventually I'm probably going to have to switch to Picarto instead.
Okay.
Because Picarto is, you know, for that sort of stuff. And also, it will allow nudity. Livestream does not.
Nice.
So I can work on porn.
I settled on YouTube just simply because it was there. That was my whole reason.
It indeed is there.
It does physically, well, digitally exist, and therefore was a usable service.
This is very true.
Plus, you know, everyone, like, I know I talked to you about Picarto, and then I couldn't remember what the name was, and I didn't want to feel like going through my log on Skype and figuring out, you know, what to use.
Right.
And Twitch, as I remembered, had the issue with nudity. And
right.
Not that I can ever manage to draw my characters without laughing, so I don't. Like, nude characters of mine, that's just not going to happen. But
what about fan art?
Huh?
Well, it'll happen in fan art.
Well, yeah, no, Seth's done it before. I think a couple other people have done, if not nude, then at least risque. And now at least you know an untapped resource. There's very little CBRPG nudity.
That's tragedy.
Is it, though?
That is a goddamn tragedy, and it needs to be rectified.
Oh, God. Okay.
Oh, though, speaking of fucking, you know, webcomic Rule 34 and, you know, shit that is terrible and needs to be rectified.
Yes.
This was a while back.
Yes.
You know, fucking Something Positive, Randy Milholland.
I know of it.
Okay.
Remember, I read exactly 3 webcomics.
Right, okay, well, Something Positive is a webcomic by Randy Milholland.
Fair enough.
And despite being quite popular, and despite being, you know, aimed at a sort of snarky adult kind of audience that normally would draw plenty of porn of this sort of thing, no porn.
Wow.
None. No matter how you try to find it, no matter how you try to Google for it, it's not on the fucking Rule 34 site. Nothing. For years and years and years and years.
Okay.
Absolutely nothing.
Okay.
And then he does a storyline in which Davin runs a little role-playing game for a little group of, you know, his kids' friends.
Yeah.
So they're like maybe 10. And so he had to create, you know, some kids to flesh out that group. And he has like this shy little 10-year-old girl who like hides behind her long hair and mumbles so that people can barely hear her.
Yeah.
She gets porn made of her.
That's
This dude's been doing a webcomic for fucking ever. For, you know, like a decade at least. And first porn he gets, child porn. And it's of this random throwaway character that he created for this one
You know,
scene.
I feel bad for him because that's horrifying.
Yeah?
Yeah. And that's the internet. Congratulations, everyone. You've achieved the internet.
Yep. And I'm not talking like cutesy lowly shit either. I mean, this was nasty.
To be fair, I find all lowly shit nasty, so that's...
Yes.
I do not deny I look at porn. That is what porn is for, is to be looked at and used in a
Yes.
masturbatory manner.
I agree.
That's what porn is to do, and it's fun in
Yeah.
the right setting.
Yeah.
But I have standards, and one of those standards is not lowly. Because,
It's fair.
Yeah.
That is fair.
I also don't think, even if there was porn of my characters, like, beyond the, oh, hey, look at that setting, I'd be able to actually do anything with it, because that would just be weird.
Okay.
I'm just, I don't know. How would you feel if someone did porn of, like, okay, you actually do have porn.
I have quite a bit of porn, yes.
You have porn. So we
I
can actually
actively
ask this in a
encourage-
practical sense and not just the theoretical. Have you
Yes.
jerked it to your own characters?
Wow, right up front there.
You don't have to answer, but I am curious. And I mean, an answer, let's be fair, an answer does not indicate that you have. It does not imply any information whatsoever, more just a whether or not you even felt like acknowledging the question existed to begin with.
You know what? Fuck it, yes.
Okay, there you go.
And I... Like, to me, sexuality is obviously a huge part of Leftover Soup. They talk about that shit all the time.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And yeah, like, people, I think the thing for me is that people have commissioned porn. Like, not only that people have drawn porn, like, anybody can just be like, I think I'll draw, this character naked, haha, that'd be funny. It says something to me that someone was willing to part with their hard-earned cash and say, I want to see Ellen's tits, and I want to see them so bad, here's $20.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Were I to jerk to any of your characters, which, I know you, it's like with my own characters, it feels kind of weird.
Fair enough.
It would probably be Ellen. She's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay, yeah, that was the color I used. Perfect. Get back here. It's not Max. Max's tits are too small. Straight off. Just saying. I get that. I get that. I very much am a want to see a girl naked kind of porn browser. So.
Okay, so you're not so much looking for the action per se. You just want to see the goods.
No, and that's I will be straight off, and I don't know if this sounds. I mean, you can take the context of the statement however you will.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the look of dude wang. It does not in any way, shape, or form turn me on.
That's fair.
So.
That is very often the case for a lot of dudes.
Yep.
Is Darkmoon saying he wants some CVRPG porn?
Yes, that is exactly what
I'm
he's
not
saying.
saying I want it. I'm just saying. Becky wants it.
Becky wants it. Becky wants it so much.
Oh, which character does Becky want?
Okay, to be fair, my wife, I know this for a fact, really loves Darkmoon. She does.
The bar for Becky's standards right now is under the ground.
Yeah. Golem is not only naked, Golem has no parts. Okay, you've just gone way out. This is why I can't draw porn of my own characters. You've gone outside of continuity.
Well, see, Golem, that would be an interesting inversion.
This needs an upgrade.
Yeah, normally, if you see someone, they're wearing clothes, and then they disrobe, they become, they remove layers of artificiality in order to become naked. Golem has to actually add something to be naked.
Yes.
Like, he would have to put on a dick in order to rise to nudity. He's actually at negative nudity at this point.
What was Motorcycle saying?
Well, the thing is, does Golem identify as male?
As in critique, like, would I think that...
I mean, you can attach the 3-fact to Golem.
That's true. Does Golem actually identify as male? If he were to have a libido, would he choose to have a penis?
Yes.
Yes.
In my head, yes. Golem actually self-identifies as male.
Alright.
So, to answer that question, he has never given himself a wang, although he has redesigned himself on more than one occasion. Every time he looks different design-wise, it's because he's redesigned himself. But he has not ever given himself a wang in continuity, and it's not because I would giggle at it. I mean, I would just hide it and pretend that it doesn't exist when I'm drawing him. But he has never given himself a wang, but he does self-identify as male.
Okay.
So, and that's a personal choice, because there's nothing in his programming or the words in his head that would indicate he's male. He just self-identifies. So, I guess is that transgender or something? I don't know exactly what that would be.
That's a good question. Trans implies that, biologically you're one thing and you're going to another.
I'm not sure what it qualifies as when they're biologically nothing and they identify as something.
Yeah, like I would not use the word trans there because trans implies going from one state to another. He is biologically agender, and he is only, like, in terms of his mindset, is he gendered.
To be fair, though, too, he does not appreciate, and I know this is a term that they don't like either, he does not appreciate being referred to as an it. So, in a lot of respects, even though I would agree with you, biologically he does not qualify as trans, he does meet certain qualifications for the title, if nothing else. Well, and that actually raises another question, and then we'll get to Motorcycle's point in a second. Which would also be the thing of, if we apply a penis to Golem, does that then qualify it as fuda porn? That's the right term, right? Putting a dick on a chick is fuda? Is that right?
Yes. Well, okay. I mean, it depends. Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes.
So would that then qualify him as fuda porn if you put a penis on him?
Adding a penis where there wasn't a penis before?
Yes.
I'm going to say no, because a futanari generally is, like, there are different interpretations of what specific genital configurations qualify as fuda and which don't.
Okay.
But...
and this is, of course, porn I don't look at, because I don't like penises.
Okay.
So.
But generally, a futanari is a character who is specifically female, who appears as female, who identifies as female, but who has a dick. Like, generally, your typical futanari is not, like, gender bent in any other way.
Okay.
A futanari would be indistinguishable from a woman, but she just happens to have an extra large clit.
She's undistinguishable until such time as that schlong pops out.
Exactly.
Okay, fair enough.
Like, she will use female pronouns to refer to herself. In all other respects, she is a female, but happens to have a dick.
Okay, fair enough. To answer the question Motorcycle provided, which was would we criticize porn of our characters? Mason, obviously, you already have porn of your characters, and you're perfectly happy with it.
I had a damn contest.
Yes, you did. And I have actually, long ago, 2 or 3 website revisions, so I want to say 3 or 4 or 5 years back, I had little just art contests for the readers. They didn't actually get anything, although Seth contributed the most of it, and then he got to contribute actual comics to the comic. So I guess in a way he won. But I did have little art things up where it was like, draw this if you want to. Show me what you have here. I'll post your art. The first person to bring it in, I'll post your artwork onto the site. So that's how I got most of my fan art, was just petitioning people and being like, hey, you'll get the first and you get to claim the rights to it. Anyone who submits afterwards, you don't get to post. So some of the porn came up and I willingly posted it. I am willing to look at porn of my characters with a critical eye towards what did they do, what did they not do, was this interesting?
Is it in character? Is it accurate? Is it well done? Yeah.
Like Golem having a penis attached to him, I would be like, well, that's interesting. It's not something I would draw, but were he to do it, I guess it makes sense. So, I mean, Again, he self-identifies as male. The only reason he hasn't, like, attached a penis under his codpiece that he has in front of his crotch is because I didn't draw one, and it didn't occur to me that Golem would want to do that. It's not beyond the capability for him to do it if he found someone that he wanted to breed with. I guess that's kind of part of it, though. He'd have to breed with someone that could handle Golem cock. He wouldn't want to just stick it into anyone. So
well,
you have to be attracted to them.
That's a fairly narrow interpretation of sex acts. I mean, there are plenty of...
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I won't argue. I am interested in your points. I'm not going to argue them. I think that's a fair point to be raised, and continue.
I happen to think, like, this is just my perspective, that if I was, you know, Golem, or if I was something where I was, like, big and strong and powerful, but I still had someone who I wanted to be in a sexual relationship with, I would be okay with just trading off oral.
Okay, but Golem is... I have never specifically narrowed it down, but Golem is at least a head taller than all the other characters.
Doesn't mean his dick has to be extra large.
Well, but if he's gonna build a dick, I would assume in my head, just because he's built everything to scale for his size, he would build a penis that was to scale. It makes sense for him.
Well, let's work out what to scale would be.
Okay,
he's a head taller, you say, than the other characters?
7 feet tall, probably.
He's 7 feet. Okay.
That's so, a head taller than everyone else equates to, if most of the characters are 5'10" to 6 feet, then a head taller would be what, 7?
Yeah.
You're talking penis size? Okay. Well, the average male size is 5?
5 point something, yeah.
Okay, so 7 to 8 inches sounds fair?
So yeah, I mean, if the average character in the strip is 5 point something feet tall,
yes,
and the average penis is 5 point something inches long,
yes,
then yeah, a 7-8 inch cock would be perfectly fine, and that's something that most people can handle.
That's okay, and that's fair. So the woman, presuming it's a woman and not a man, which we're not going to judge, he self-identifies as male, but that doesn't mean he couldn't be attracted to someone else of the same gender. They would have to, if they were human and not another Golem, they would have to ride in one of the cowgirl positions. Because, bearing in mind, while indestructible, Golem also weighs like a ton and a half, 2 tons probably, somewhere in there. He's a heavy dude.
So yeah, now there would be plenty of cases, there are plenty of sex acts that they could do, presumably. Cowgirl, like
I was being close-minded.
Receiving oral sex, performing oral sex, you know.
I gotta say, these are the kinds of conversations I don't have in my comic, because I kind of tread the PG-13 to vaguely R because of language mark. Like,
yeah, whereas my comic, this is my fucking bread and butter.
Oh yeah, and I love these conversations, I just can't normally have them in my comic. Like, I try to avoid using the word fuck too often in my comic, just because I don't want to tread too far over PG-13.
Okay, now here's a question.
Yes.
Are there or could there be other golems who identify as female?
Do you want me to answer in continuity? Because I have a spoiler I could give right now that would explain this.
It is up to you how you want to answer that question.
There's only one person in the chat, and I already gave a spoiler warning for it. But, do you care about spoilers?
I do not.
Okay, then that's perfect. Eventually the character of Captain Sprockets is going to be introduced. She was the one that I showed after the end of the second issue of the current series.
Yeah.
The character I teased as, this character will be introduced before too long. She flies around in her own salvage ship. And it's just her and her ship is basically the rest of the crew. Because the ship is basically a golem.
That's rad as hell.
Yes, and that golem identifies as female.
Okay.
And our golem, the character, is attracted to the ship because she identifies as female, and he's a dude.
Magnificent.
So that answers your question. Yes, a female golem could and will exist in the comic, and Golem would be attracted to her because he identifies as a male golem.
Okay, so if those two were to initiate some sort of sexual relationship, given the fact that she is not even humanoid, it is likely that whatever attempt at Congress they would have would not be recognizable to us as sex in the first place.
Not short of them wandering past and seeing Golem like the humping robot from Robot Chicken just going to town against one of her walls. Probably not.
Okay.
Yes.
So
one of her exhaust ports.
Kev evidently wants to be added in. Are we allowing her in?
Sure. I think I'm gonna let the stream go on until 10:30, so we got 25 minutes still.
Okay.
Cool. So, anyway, if, for instance, Motorcycle, I'm not saying you were going to, but if you were curious, if you were going to, do I need to answer this, or?
No.
Hi.
Hey, there we go. Okay. So, were you to, Motorcycle, draw a porn for one of my characters, or multiple of my characters, all of them going at it, whatever is your fancy, there would be no judgment on the matter as to what you drew. It could be as hardcore or softcore as you wanted it, and, I mean, it could be absolutely nasty. And one, I would give you a fair critique on the art style, and two, with an not safe for work warning, I would probably post on my website because I'm a whore for that kind of stuff, and anything fans send me, I will post.
Okay, so CVRPG babies.
Okay, I have to qualify one thing because you raised a valid point. It cannot be illegal in the United States, and there is some qualification, because of the server that I host with, there's some curiosity about drawn children having sex, and whether or not that's legal. And it's not, far as I know, in the United States. So,
I wasn't planning on drawing that personally. I was just thinking of terrible banner.
You raised a valid point where someone to draw CVRPG babies and then have them fuck, I would not be legally allowed to post that. So, however, were you to draw just CVRPG babies, that would be fine. So,
as unlikely as some of them would be.
Unlikely as it is. Anyway, I think I have stared at the same health meter for 5 minutes now and not actually drawn anything, so I need to start drawing again.
Yeah, it's a problem with engaging conversations. They do not help.
You guys got me thinking, and I couldn't draw and think at the same time. So, okay. So anyway, since we have new people and rejoining people and so forth, I will give another long view of the character and remind everyone that for a little while during last week, I spent some time doing work on the characters off of the stream because I couldn't actually stream while I was doing it. And so we have a full set of expressions for the character now that I'm likely to use, and a full set of basic poses for the character that I am likely to need. So now I can start doing some hand positions and actually have Darkmoon talk and stuff.
So what combination of things would you get for Ennui?
Ennui. Well, I have a basic nonplussed look. I guess one of these expressions could probably be ennui.
It just needs to be black and white and raining.
It does. It does. I would agree with that.
Motorcycle raises an interesting point. Why don't vampires just always have a steel plate over their heart?
You know, I wondered that too, to be honest. I'm sorry. That was a nasty coughing fit. Yeah, I mean, it's like one of those things of Darkmoon could have, like, a metal collar, and I'll actually draw it here. You could put a metal collar around his neck, and then, like, just a plate over the slightly leftish section of his heart, and then maybe another one over the backside. Yeah, see? And then, at that point, that's not a bad call. Maybe I'll expand the buckle at some point and have it be heart protection. I mean, he may be a good vampire who can go out in daylight, but he's still a vampire, so presumably if someone decided to stab him in the chest, he'd be dead. Yeah, with a toothpick. Like, he's weak to number 2 pencils.
Speaking of vampires, holy crap, Fright Night.
Did you see the new one?
I saw all the Fright Night.
Oh, nice.
All the Fright Night. Oh, the original, the sequel, the remake in 2011, and the, for whatever reason, in-name-only sequel in 2013.
Yes. You know what? I love those movies.
I am going to be hosting my own marathon next year, I think.
Nice. I will join in for that because I do like the original Fright Night and its sequel.
Mm-hmm.
But I gotta say, I felt that the villain, the guy who played the villain in the remake, he was fucking phenomenal. Oh my god, the menace that guy, I can't remember his name now.
He was very menacing, but at the same time, he came off as kind of dumb.
Was it Dennis?
Colin Farrell, there you go. Maybe, but I still liked him. I liked his performance, all things considered.
That's fair, but at the same time, I'm like, how did you not get caught
Luck?
sooner? How did you last 400 years? This kind of behavior shouldn't have lasted 5.
I guess. I mean, I see your point. I see your point, but it's also a matter of probably no one who decided to go in and try and take... I'm sure more than one person has discovered him. I mean, the simple fact is that the magician, he'd run into him before when the vampire attacked his family. So
Yeah.
it's not beyond reason that there have been people who have discovered him and survived and felt like going after him before, which the magician didn't. But it's also one of those things where it's like those who did probably weren't anywhere near as prepared for him as Charlie was. So those that did go after him weren't able to handle him and then likely just died.
Yeah.
So
That's it. I think every movie had its strengths. Like, none of the other movies even tried to handle Ed's death scene, and that's fair because that was phenomenal. There's no way they could have done it justice again.
Well, and it's one of those things of the various movies do have their strengths and weaknesses, barring the remake in name only sequel, because that one was just a piece of shit.
I actually really enjoyed it.
I didn't. And I think the primary reason I didn't enjoy it was, well, one, it didn't need to be called Fright Night 2.
Yeah,
But,
I definitely did. If it had just been called Fright Night.
Well, I know they wanted to catch them up. If they'd done Fright Night with a subtitle, and then just left it as that, I probably would have been slightly less annoyed. But it was, okay, I'm a big fan of, I'm a horror movie junkie, so, one of the requirements of a good horror movie, quote-unquote, is that there should be nudity. That's just, that goes part and parcel with most, horror movies.
Okay.
Which it had plenty of.
I didn't think the number 2 did. Certainly the one thing I remember most of all was that, the main actress, up until, like, maybe the very end, it was like a tease for her nudity. They kept, like, getting her to the point where she was about to, and then they kept cutting away as if they were embarrassed by it. So.
Well, it wasn't like she was the naked one, but there was nudity in that movie. In fact, we flinched every time that happened, because it was like, oh, okay, yeah, that was gratuitous.
Yeah, well, and
actually no, it was the strippers that was the problem. It was like, yeah, we didn't need to linger there quite as long as we did.
Well, and I will agree with you on that. There's a fine line between nudity in a horror movie to illustrate the fact that these are, usually teenagers and they have libidos and they're gonna fuck because that's what teenagers with libidos do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then there's a fine line between that and then, like,
padding.
Just putting in all the nudity ever for the sake of having it.
Yeah, the main padding problems I had with the second remake was, oh god, those strobe lights.
Yeah.
And, yeah, the unnecessarily long shots of the stripper.
Yeah, I get that. I think I also just wasn't impressed with the stripper. I don't think I found her cute.
Well, the budget showed.
Yeah, you gotta pay for good nudity, that's true.
That said, I loved how, he just Vincent was Peter Vincent was like, holy shit, oh god, planning room, and all the strippers are just like, okay, we're down. I don't know, there were a lot of little touches in that movie that I really enjoyed.
That's fair. I'm not gonna argue with that. I mean, I felt it was the weakest of all of them.
Alright.
But I'm still down for watching a full marathon of all of them. That's for sure.
I admit I was going to do it in... Well, actually, no. If you're coming up to Canada, maybe I can do it then.
My sister will not view that.
No, but I'm pretty sure she's not going to care if everyone disappears for 5 hours.
Well, I guess it depends. It depends on the day we schedule it at. If we schedule on a day where
she's busy,
where she has to work on comics anyway, it's probably less of an issue.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Yeah. So.
But this is a year away, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay.
Maybe I'll do a streaming marathon. I don't know.
Well, you'd be able to stream them, but you wouldn't be able to save the stream afterwards.
True.
Yeah. Although we could definitely be like, okay, everyone, start your movie here, and then we could just MST3K the whole run. That could be fun. Because I love horror movies, but I also love making all the fun of them whatsoever. They're a good
The problem with that is you're only gonna really get good commentary if it's a movie you've seen before, because otherwise you're going to be interrupting each other. You're going to be interrupting the movie because you're going to be in the middle of a comment and then shit's going to happen. It's got to be something that you already know.
Well, okay. I've seen all the Fright Nights, but I have also participated in MST3K stuff that was unrehearsed before, and actually that stuff does at times really work as long as you have a good group.
That and sometimes especially horror movies, they have such predictable beats that you know where your time to heckle is.
Oh yeah, and besides which, if you watch MST3K, they are totally willing to talk over other people.
Oh yeah, that too.
Characters in movie for the sake of the joke.
Yeah. Okay, one of the things I liked one of the things that creeped me out the most about the first Fright Night is, oh god, she's 16, why movie maker, why is she making those noises as she's getting her blood drained? No! But I liked that it was Ed in the second remake who was making the weird sex noises when he was being drained. I appreciated that. It was
I appreciated some of what the second movie did. I think that, it was nice to have them go and do a female vampire again. The second original Fright Night featured a female, didn't it?
Yep, the sequel definitely had a main female, and she kind of rocked.
Yeah. So, there's a lot that I appreciated where they went with certain things for the sequel. I really don't feel like the sequel remake was strong, though.
It wasn't necessarily strong, but I guess I don't know. It did a lot of things that I felt were a little bit more in line, even though it was set in Romania.
Fair enough.
And I did like the reinterpretation of the final form for Jerry, because it's holy shit, that's ugly.
From the remake?
Yeah.
Well, I love the remake. Remake I thought was great. It was just the sequel that I felt was a piece of shit. So, the remake sequel was...
No, the reveal in the remake sequel, I thought that was well done. I thought that was a decent redesign, and certainly a reference back to what the original was.
That's fair. That's fair. Excuse me. As we spent way too long talking about Fright Night.
All I'm going to say is I would certainly watch all 4 movies all over again, because they all had something I liked.
That's fair.
Which is not something I can normally say when it comes to movies and remakes. Again.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, it's dang, okay, yeah, no.
Yeah.
I want to see a fifth remake. What else new are you going to bring to the thing?
Yeah, I would love to see a 5th movie in the series, even though I didn't like the sequel remake sequel. I would still watch another movie in the franchise just because I liked the movies that I got so far by and large. There's something to be said, something worthwhile for the Fright Night movies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Making tacos. I'm gonna be making tacos.
You making tacos over there?
I'm making tacos over here.
Okay.
I would share with Amber, but she is not here.
Anything else in the chat?
Yeah, I can't see the chat right now, so...
Becky's on it.
Yay. Thank you. Oh, who? Uh-huh. Okay, what are you saying?
No shit! Dude, I'm gonna have to look into that.
Yeah, me too. Can I borrow your copy once you get it?
I guess? You can read it while you're here at some point.
Done.
Wow. Okay, so I'm curious, now that we know that it exists, where does it take place in continuity? Like, is it a straight sequel to the first movie? Does it follow the second one? I want to know now.
Or is it just a comic version of the movie, which sometimes happens?
Which sometimes happens, and then they decide to launch into a comic based on the difference, like, based on that one with the differences from their interpretation of the comic. Like, there's, I want to say, like, the Halloween movies got a kind of sequel reinterpretation in comic form that then eventually, like, spun off into a whole crossover series with the movies. Like, there was a guy who devoted way too much time to writing official sequel comic book series to the really terrible 4th, 5th, and 6th Halloween movies because he liked that continuity better than the H2O continuity.
Well, to each their own, I guess. I do like what one of the Ghostbuster comics I was reading was doing, which is basically, it's technically all canon.
Yeah.
So they had the real Ghostbuster stuff happening, we had, you know, the movie stuff happening, and some of the characters from Extreme Ghostbusters even just happened to show up, which I liked. Kylie basically helps run Ray's occult bookstore.
Well, I like little touches like that are cool. There you go. Good to know.
Ooh,
I will.
All right. Thank you.
I will look and see if there are any trades of that because I'm a big fan of comic book trades.
They are easier to transport and or store.
And just display on my shelf. Because yeah, if I can display it on my bookshelf, I'll pick it up. That's easy. Speaking of the Ghostbusters comic, though, you left some behind here that we just found. Were you intending them to leave them behind?
I guess. I think you were interested in sort of reading them, so I was like, well, you didn't get around to it, so...
No, it's fine. I mean, like, I'll read them. I was just, they kind of ended up on my shelf, so...
I probably do want them back so that I can remember where to pick up, because there's obviously more going on. That's not all of them.
Yeah, you should definitely remember to grab them then, because otherwise they'll end up just in my collection at some point.
Yeah, I think the main reason why I got them was because, hey, $4 each! Holy shit, yeah!
I get that.
Because they're normally like 20.
Yeah, no, I get that. I have that rule for a lot of things. If it's stupid cheap, I'll buy it just for the hell of it.
Well, that looked interesting. It was like, I was flipping through, it's like, hey, Kylie, where's the first one?
Yeah.
I'm also separating out meat. I grabbed the right number of baggies right away. Without even looking. Skills. If there are tacos, Amber tends to get first dibs, so whether she wants to share or not is up to her.
Was there a question about tacos?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, I wandered back over to the computer for a second, but I'm back in the kitchen now.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, there is an understanding. I do not want to lose a hand.
You wouldn't lose the whole hand.
But what if she gets my favorite finger?
Well, then I guess you just have a hand that's a blob.
I was gonna say, you just learned to masturbate with a different finger.
I was talking about picking my nose, but okay.
Sure you were.
There are a lot of devices out there to help with masturbation. There aren't many devices out there to help with picking your nose in a satisfactory manner.
But that's a skill you could definitely pick up with, like, a different finger. I know from experience, if I lost my left hand, I would be bereft for a few weeks of masturbation right there until I figured out how the hell to work differently. I like lefty.
Alright, let's see. I need a...
That's not bad.
Wait a minute. I should read this kit before I get too far into this.
Oh.
How many shells?
This is going nicely. Can you see? Progress.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, I know, right? Characters are drawn, faces are drawn, got a meter, got a position so Darkmoon can talk. Because Darkmoon talking is very important. So,
Yep.
Yep.
Unwrap shells.
I don't know, maybe that should be a little longer.
Oven.
That's what she said. Yeah, that's good.
And overlapping spoon.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Do not heat taco shells in toaster oven due to possible risk of fire.
Well, yeah, because they leak grease over time, so they'd they drip grease into the burner.
There's a tray that you could put them on, though. Not. Well,
Never
mind. No, this warning is here because someone did.
Someone tried it without paying attention.
Someone did this without actually putting something for the oil underneath to be caught in.
No, this is toaster oven. Save this arm. So I'm gonna finish shading this arm.
Yeah, we should do a taco night at some point, but have like, I want a fish option. I like authentic, like fish taco type stuff.
Okay, I know we're talking tacos, and I agree with you on that. And I actually do like, we made salmon tacos at one point, and those are pretty fucking good. However, it's hard to hear the term fish taco without snickering.
That's fair.
Just saying. Just putting that out there. So. But anyway, yes, taco night. Taco night. I'm down with, I would honestly be down with streaming a taco night.
Well, my goal is that once I launch this Patreon thing, I'm going to rearrange the tiers around, so I need your help. Yep. I'm actually thinking I'm going to set the $2.50 tier to be, taco night. Where once a month, I'm going to make a new taco recipe, review it, and possibly to take pics or try to, stream, the consumption of it.
I'm okay with that.
Just be like, vegan tacos, all soy and shit.
I mean, that's awful, but we can still do it.
Well, one night, I'm actually just going to go out and buy Taco Bell. And sit there with the bag and eat it while angrily staring at the camera.
That would be awesome.
Nice.
I actually have a cooking blog that has, 15 unique taco recipes. So I'm ready to roll.
That to me. Yeah.
I am ready for, and that's why I'm going to send it to the lower tier because, frankly, it doesn't really require being a high tier to begin with. And
I thought you only had 2 tiers.
Well, that's for individual rewards. All my rewards are going to be milestones.
She's talking about milestones, yeah.
Oh, that's fair.
So yeah, $250 a month. I will review tacos. It starts with tacos. It ends with tacos because for $1,500, I'm going to get a taco tattoo.
I was gonna say this sounds fairly self-serving though because you're going to make tacos no matter what.
Well, yeah, but people are helping me pay for them, which is the whole point of Patreon.
That's a fair point.
People are going to fund me for this content.
Go fund my tacos.
Well,
Okay,
I figure, I want them to pay for the things I want to do. In that case, it's art, comics, and eating tacos.
Yes.
Okay, so let's get some critiquing going on in here. Any poses people want me to zoom in on? Anything people like the look of? Changes people think I should make? Let's put this to a vote.
I want to see the crotch.
You want which crotch?
Yes.
To what? Oh, okay. Cool.
Alright, so, what do you think about the crotch?
I can't see that much right now. It's all, like, zoomed out.
It's zooming in.
Okay.
It's
Eventually.
delayed.
Yeah, she gets some delay.
My shit's a bit
Okay,
delayed.
here you go. Okay, get closer.
Coming in.
Coming in.
I can go closer still if you want me to.
That's good. Yeah, for the life of me, I can never figure out how to draw guy pants. Like, girl
and that's
pants, you
fair.
can, like, hug the curves a little bit, but guy pants are, like, this strange
Yes.
realm of
Yes.
mystery.
I agree. Let me go pull up Old Angel, because I felt Old Angel had some of the best jeans I've ever drawn. Hold on one second.
Alright.
Angel left. I'll do it. Let me go pull
Like,
up.
guy pants is
Yeah, I know.
an art form, and anybody...
Sorry, you said Angel, and I just started having flashbacks to the most recent episode of Sleepy Hollow, the crossover with Bones, and I'm still reeling from it.
Wait, hang on.
Yes.
Sleepy Hollow did a crossover with Bones?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, you missed my freakout about that! Okay! I tweeted about that!
I'm surprised, like, you didn't know about this, because I remember when they announced it, and I, at the time, gave no fucks. And
Well,
my fuck status is still at a negative, so...
Okay, hold on,
technically...
Before we go on to that, Mab,
Yeah.
pants.
Yeah, those are some pretty good jeans,
There you
like...
go. See? Yeah. It's,
Perfect.
really, it's the same thing as with Darkmoon, the one that I have here, and I'm switching over to it, and of course I'm going to talk for a few seconds, and you're not going to see anything. But it's the same kind of pant style that I did here, but by adding on the zipper and the pockets, which Darkmoon's pants just apparently don't have, because he's old school.
Pockets are for, you know, the Irish.
Exactly. It added on a level of detail that, I mean, they look almost exactly the same without those details, but it added a level of detail that made it feel so much more fleshed out. So
What body type is Darkmoon supposed to be? Like, I mean...
me, but slightly more muscular.
Okay. So when I draw, you know, Becky her Darkmoon porn, I gotta make sure, you know, to keep it, you know, as accurate to canonical sources as possible.
Yeah, I tried to give him a body type that was kind of fencer, I guess is probably the best way. Lean but athletic.
Yeah, athletic, but probably not, like, ripped.
What's the body hair situation?
I don't know.
Vampires, I imagine, are either, you know, don't have... I imagine... I mean, they're dead, so I don't think their hair keeps
It doesn't grow, but the question would be a matter of whether or not their hair ever goes away. And that's not...
If his hair doesn't grow, then the fact that he still has a ponytail is impressive.
Here's
Well,
the
I
thing.
figure it's, you know, vampire magic. You stay in stasis until it's, like, removed from your body. So perhaps he, like, had one day where he decided to try the magical world of Nair and regretted it ever since.
Well,
I'm just saying, you know, like, if the hair cannot grow back, and he's, like, fighting the apparently he has never gotten that ponytail cut. Nobody has ever grabbed it and cut it. Because otherwise it would not have grown back.
Well, to be fair, in a fight, if you're grabbing someone's ponytail, you're going to try and cut their throat, not their ponytail.
Great.
Yeah, usually your whole thing is like, haha, I've grabbed you by the hair, and now I'm going to cut the hair that I'm holding you with.
The question becomes a matter of continuity, and which vampire continuity you go with. I'm not saying which one I use for CVRPG, because I've never thought about it. Darkmoon's always just had long hair or a ponytail. But, if, for instance, you believe that Anne Rice was onto the right thing with hers, vampires who try to cut their hair magically grows back to the length it was when they were dead. Like they first died.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yes. So, if we go by that logic, which works as well as anything else, then Darkmoon's hair is that length because he can't get rid of it, which would mean any body hair he had at the time, he'd still have, and presumably that means he still has the really awful super long pubes because people didn't trim their pubes back in the day.
Dang it, I was gonna say, I hope he, like, manscaped into, like, a little bat shape.
He just can't manscape.
you're drawing the porn, you do what you want. That's how that
Actually,
works.
it really depends where you are in time, because sometimes that was one of the better ways to get rid of body lice.
And he's Jewish, which meant that they took care of their hygiene better than a lot of other people.
True.
There you go.
So, that's something.
Now I'm picturing him like going to Locks of Love, and he's just like, "How much do you need?" And they're like, "Well, whatever you can donate." And he's like, "Okay." Grab the ponytail, snip, drop, grab, snip, drop, grab, snip, drop.
Yeah, he would be
grab,
an
snip,
infinite resource for that.
Yeah.
Interesting. I like that. Okay.
Like, could like, loom industry, like, a sale breaks. It's like, well, this is gonna take a while.
Any other critiques? Anything people want me to look at? Can someone check the chat and make sure?
I think it looks good, but I'm gonna get to work mounted.
It's all good.
I like how I think I was gonna be like super late with the comic that I was working on because I'm like, oh, I'm starting so much later than I normally do. And like, I'm actually at the stage where I'm starting to color 2 hours earlier than some days, and I'm just like, motherfuckers.
I understand that. I did 2 comics earlier today, because I was sitting there like Thursday and Friday. I didn't want to do anything, and I was like, oh, these comics are gonna take forever, and then I sat down to do them, and it was all just a matter of trying to figure out what the idea was going to be. That's what takes the hardest for me. But then I sat down to do them, and I kicked them out in an hour, and I'm like, well, why'd I resist this whole time?
Yep.
Yeah.
No doubt feel.
Been there all week.
Yeah, so.
I have gotten a lot more art done this week than I thought I would. Which is good.
That is good.
I'm not disappointed.
Well,
I'm just...
I thought initially, after I got the second stream done, I was going to have 2 poses done going into here, and then I had a good amount of time to just sit and work, and suddenly I've got, like, 8 main poses done, I had a set of faces, and then tonight I got another good pose done, all the faces, got a health meter. This was actually a fairly productive night. I was very pleased. So, cool, guys. Well, I am going to jump off because I think my voice is starting to fade. My allergies are kicking up. But thanks, everyone, for joining. On the chat today, we had Mason Williams and K.Vinna and my sister Amber Williams and my wife, Sprockets, and myself. I am Mike Finkelstein. Music was provided primarily from Overclock Remix, with additional soundtracks such as Chrono Trigger and Castlevania coming from their respective game sources. All art featured in the comic or the chat was my own. Thanks to everyone for joining into the chat, and I will see you guys next time, Sunday, if not before.
Alright.
Have fun. See you guys soon.